Okay, let's see what
Michelle Goldberg.
Let's see what friend of the show Sam Seder had to say on MSNBC.
Podcast Majority Report with Sam Seder, and they both join me now. And Sam is a plucky independent.
Bro, Sam Seder is so handsome. Goddamn.
Man, I come to for entertaining conversation, but can't trust a word you say. What do you think about this situation?
Well, I should say, full disclosure, I tried to get on Rogan's show years and years ago because, to go on his show was to really help out your own show. At the time, too, I felt like he had a lot of right-wingers, a lot of libertarians on. Subsequent to that, he sort of announced on his show that he felt I was too harsh with right-wingers, so it didn't happen, but that was all well and good. But the point is, he's got a very, very important show. He's got a huge audience. And I think the thing that he doesn't fundamentally understand is that his intent is irrelevant.
Yeah.
It really is. And I actually think that, his intent isn't as bad as a lot of others, players out there, but his intent is irrelevant. He is spreading misinformation. Even in that Instagram video he did, the first 3 minutes are him trying to prove that misinformation doesn't even exist because there's been a changing dynamic with vaccinations and COVID over the course of 8 months, which of course, 8 months ago, vaccines did a different thing because COVID was a different thing. But he doesn't quite get what he's doing, I think, on many ways. I mean, he thinks he knows what he's doing, but he doesn't understand it from the perspective of the way that it impacts society.
Yeah, there's a kind of fascinating dynamic here. I mean, first of all, I should say that I sort of bristle a little bit at this kind of like call the manager liberalism you see sometimes, like, oh, that's misinformation. You need to like cut that person off. And so I'm generally still.
Yeah, that shit's annoying. Nobody likes it. It makes the person look fucking terrible. It's only when Republicans do it do people think it's like honorable and just for some reason. I don't know how the fuck we got to a point where like it's just liberals that do this. Like people just genuinely in mainstream media and in like the hearts and minds of the average layman in public, they only see liberals as doing the call your manager type activism. Okay. And for some reason, when conservatives do it, we never recognize it as such. But they do it as well, but it's fucking annoying regardless. And at the same time, it's like, well, what do you do? Like, what do you even do? What do you do? How do you stop Joe Rogan from, fucking, just blasting out as much COVID misinformation as possible? Like how? I feel like you just can't. Like, I don't know what to do in this situation. He's certainly, a lot more open-minded usually than the average misinformation agent on the right. You know what I mean? He is, even though with COVID he is not. But I really don't know. I do still believe, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe it's because I've like watched him for so long, that I do still believe that maybe he is someone who could be convinced otherwise. But I don't know. Probably not at this stage. I feel like maybe it's just me being on too much hopium.
We'll have a kind of sort of old school speech, more speech is better view. But one of the things that's a little weird here about this conversation, Michelle, is that and someone made this point on Twitter today, and I forgot who. It's being talked about like content moderation or something. It's like Spotify's just producing his show. They pay him $100 million. That's a Spotify show. If I say things on this network that are wrong or that are, legally problematic or slander, like, yeah, they come after my network and my boss is like, that's how it goes, dude. Like, I don't know what to tell you, but people think they're in some world that they are not in.
Well, it's in the same way that you would go after Fox. I mean, the right analogy is not YouTube, which just happens to have all this content on it, or Facebook and Twitter, and we could talk about their content moderation policies. But you're right, Spotify is essentially his publisher. So this is, as you said, it's a Spotify show, and I understand people feeling, sort of uncomfortable. In some ways, there's no good way to deal with this because once people.
I mean, if you take medical advice from Joe Rogan, you deserve to get COVID, dude. That's not how that works, homie. That's just not how that works. It's kind of like saying if you're fucking obese, you deserve to die of COVID. You know what I mean? If you're obese and you didn't get vaccinated, you deserve to die of COVID. Like, everyone's obese, okay? You know what I mean? Like, you can't, when we're talking about like systemic solutions, okay? By the way, which ironically, Joe Rogan has said something similar to that. But when we're talking about like systemic issues, like people are too stupid. People are too stupid. You have to work with the audience that you have. And unfortunately, when we think about when we think about America as a whole, we're all fucking fat. Okay? Dude, everyone saw its tweet before he deleted it. Joe Rogan shares incorrect coronavirus story just 24 hours after apology. Yeah, that was the worst part about the Rogan tweet came like 10 hours after Reuters had corrected the story. Like I said, like he literally fucking posted after Reuters had corrected the story. And like, you can't see it in this. You can't see it here. But literally under the disclosed TV, under the disclosed TV thread, okay, under the link, there's a little image that pops up on Twitter, okay, that shows like a brief window into the article. And that brief window in the article literally said redacted or corrected, okay, in the thumbnail of this fucking thing. So Joe Rogan was so horny that he didn't even look at the embedded thumbnail that literally said that he was like that the article was not saying what he thought it was saying. He got 100,000 likes on it too. Like that's not just having a fucking discussion at that point. You know what I mean? You're just purposely doing this and you don't want to fucking come across like you've been owned. But it's okay. It's liberating to admit that you're wrong. Okay? It is straight up liberating. How the fuck do you know that? Because we saw it as it happened. I was one of the first people that fucking reacted to it because I have, 30 to 40,000 people in here all day. And when shit pops off, I see it immediately. Okay? I'm covering it after the fact, but I covered it during.
"4 months of not seeing the ads at the top of the hour pog."
I'm a little confused about the correction. How different is effectiveness from having an antiviral effect? The difference is if it was a phase 3 clinical trial, it would be on human beings, but it wasn't a phase 3 clinical trial. And Reuters fucked up with the headline because it wasn't a fucking phase 3 clinical trial. It was just like literally just in a lab, in a tube, in a test tube, which we know already. Yes. In the highest doses, yes. Ivermectin has the capacity to fucking destroy COVID viruses. But like I said, in a fucking test tube, so does bleach. So does fucking bleach.
At Hasanabi, love you.
Bleach also has, antiviral effects. So what's up? You know what I mean? But it doesn't matter because like Reuters had already corrected it, but people that saw it after the fact literally probably think that like Reuters was forced to correct it because of, lamestream media. Yeah, and the amount that they use on rats or the amount that they use in the lab studies would just fucking murk a human being, okay? Be toxic. So the amount that is not toxic for ivermectin dude, look at like I'm just like every time, dude, I'm just getting swarmed by motherfuckers. Look at this. Hasan figured out if he just talks about someone who's constantly that's actually interesting, it will get him close to the views of the person who's actually interesting. Also, Hasan is the king of beta males, lol. There's a reason he just talks shit behind his computer instead of debate all the people he can't stop talking about. Joe, Jordan, Ben. Why won't you debate them, Hasan? Is it because you just get angry and rant about shit instead of putting your beliefs to the test in the intellectual battlefield? Anna has more balls than Hasan. What a shame. Like, this guy's such a fucking dumbass. I literally have tweeted at Jordan Peterson and Ben Shapiro and Joe Rogan numerous fucking times. None of them would ever have me on their shows. I don't know why the fuck these people say this. I never said Joe is acting in good faith. I don't think he's acting in good faith with COVID shit. I think he's brainwashed. Biden will lose to DeSantis. People will cite the economy and cost of goods. They'll also cite being uncomfortable with critical race theory in schools and changing definitions of gender every 5 minutes. Every article will be about white supremacy in Russia. Nothing new coming. Wait, why do you say you thought Tim Dillon was reformed? He's not wrong. I mean, the only part of it that's like reactionary is that they'll also cite being uncomfortable with critical race theory in schools and changing definition of gender every 5 minutes. But the charitable interpretation of this is like, that is not the reality, but that is simply what these dumbass hogs believe is the reality. I mean, I agree with all of this. I agree with this take. Like, this tweet is fine. I don't disagree with it. As long as you're saying that this is the dumbass shit that like Republicans respond to, and this is the dumbass shit that like liberals respond to, and that's precisely the reason why they don't give a fuck, and that DeSantis is swagged out and will destroy Joe Biden. Am I fucking stupid? The date is 1/31/2022. Yeah, that was yesterday. He said that yesterday. I am not going to I'm not going to run the hour. I'm not going to run the ad break at the top of the hour. I'm going to run it at the half hour mark like I did. Yes, we're going to talk about the UCLA shooter in a little bit. Don't worry, okay? Okay. Let's continue. Okay. But it's not going to be Death Santis. It's going to be Donald Trump that is still the holy overlord, supreme leader of the Republican Party, the commander general. He's got the most swag. Like, he's got the most white boy swag. He's the most quirked up. Okay, he's the most goated with the sauce. That's the reason why he's the one who's going to fucking win. Whereas Joe Biden, he's just quirked up, but he is not goated on the sauce. He cannot bust down sexual style. He just can't do it. Okay. Rogan reportedly received $100 million from Spotify, the rights of the broadcast. Like, the reality is this, okay? The only way that Spotify can fucking tell Joe Rogan to relax with the fucking COVID misinfo is like, listen, bitch, we gave you $100 million. You need to fucking dial it back. That's it. And you know, keep doing your shit. Just stop with the COVID misinfo, please.
You know, Joe Rogan's whole shtick is, I'm going to give you these voices that big media wants silenced. So once people are out there saying, you know, that this is dangerous and you have to shut it down, obviously that just proves his point to a big part of his audience. It just proves that he's the sayer of unsayable things. At the same time, this is, you know, his audience is massive. I don't know that all of them are sort of realize, as he said in that Instagram, you know, he sort of said, oh, I'm going to start doing more research before my shows. I don't know if all of them realized that he hadn't been doing research before his shows.
And that's a lie, too, because he has been doing research. He literally fucking considers his Facebook meme folder research.
And so people take that stuff seriously. And there's a huge amount of distrust out there, a huge market for people to, you know, a huge market of people who have sort of anti-authoritarian leanings and really bristle at 2 years of being told to trust authority and circumscribe their lives in really painful ways.
Yeah, and I get that too. Like, and that's not it's not like that's some, ethically compromised.
You just don't like when people have any conversation about facts being thrown out from different medical professionals, and now that he will have others on, it still doesn't please you, Lamau. First of all, I don't even want Joe Rogan to be fucking deplatformed or banned, idiot. So understand that. And two, it's not just different medical opinions. These are fucking actual propagandists, okay? These are people being paid by conservative think tanks to disseminate misinformation, okay? These are not people who are like edgy thinkers. Okay, these are people who are lying to you. And some of those lies are incredibly easily dismissed, like so quickly provable that only an absolute baboon-brained dickhead would believe them, okay? It's shit like, I mean, it's as simple as like COVID, the vaccine is killing people. Like, who is it killing, dumbass? What the fuck are you talking about? There is no like different facts. And you know, I'm an independent broadcaster. I am more of an independent broadcaster than Joe Rogan is, okay? I am not worth $500 million fucking dollars like Joe Rogan is. I do not have the same mainstream media background that Joe Rogan does. And I routinely and regularly shit on mainstream fucking media all the goddamn time. This is one of those instances where the vaccine is good. And the material interests of capital owners align with the public safety in this situation, okay? Because they want you to go back to work and be a fucking slave. So obviously, they want you to not die of COVID, okay? They don't want their entire labor force to be fucking wiped out. And they don't want their labor force to be knocked out of work for like 14 days, 15 days to months on end. They also don't want the hospitals to be jammed up, non-fucking stop, with mass, nurses and healthcare professionals quitting because of the fucking insane workload that they have. Okay?
Disposition for people to have.
Right.
Like people have that.
I mean, I should say, you know, and in some ways, this pandemic has really left people to figure it out on their own. You know, that as I got the Johnson & Johnson vaccine because I was in the clinical trial, I figured out before the expert guidance that I should get the booster shot. Yep. So at the time, I was sort of going against public health guidance, even though later the guidance changed, right? Things do shift. Some because the virus changes, our understanding of the virus changes, and some because the public health bureaucracy can be sort of lumbering and slow. And I think that they take advantage of the uncertainty that creates and act like there's something malevolent there when it's really just how it works.
And there's also this responsibility thing too, like just to peel the curtain back here, Sam. Like we do a podcast called Why Is This Happening? Comes out every Tuesday, and it gets like fact checked and it goes through standards. Yep. And you know, we first started doing that, I was like, oh my God, we're fact checking a podcast. It's like, well, yeah, we're fact checking a podcast because the podcast is the product that we put out in the world. And the things we say in it should be true. And there's some level, like, you want to be like, oh, we're just having a conversation. It's like, well, if you say things that aren't true, like, you put that out into the world. That's the way this works.
Yeah, and I say this as, you know, someone who most of my best friends are comedians. And so there is this sense that because
what a flex, dude.
Not a journalist,
right?
That I don't have the same responsibility. And, you know, this can be deployed in more or less malevolent ways. You know, this is what Limbaugh used to say. I'm just an entertainer. You can't take me seriously. Right. And the bottom line is, if you're talking to 11 million people every time you do a podcast, you have a responsibility. And if you're the company that's paying for it, it's on you. And
I agree with this 100% as always, because Sam is the fucking man and a G, and he's always correct. Crazy. He's right. I mean, we all have a responsibility to fucking make sure that we are doing our due diligence.
He gets a Spotify paycheck. And so it's on them. It's part of their brand now that they are the ones who are publishing this stuff. They are profiting off it, and it is hurting people. And it's their responsibility, and it's their brand.
And the other thing about it, too, is like you can just talk about stuff that doesn't matter that much. You know what I mean? Like, that's the other thing. You could just choose to like talk about comedy or talk about like Yeah,
he's in over his head
right,
on some
that's
level.
the thing.
And,
yes.
and that's the bottom line. He's in over his head.
Oh, that's going to piss him off. If they see if Joe Rogan sees shit like this, he's going to get super mad.
He doesn't realize it. He's making too much money for them to tell him. And that's the bottom line. I mean, today he tweeted out, sort of gloriously, this AP story about ivermectin in a study from Japan. Well, 20 minutes later, the AP corrected its headline, and you never heard from him again about it. And so, this is a problem, and he doesn't want to take responsibility for it, and Spotify doesn't want to take responsibility for it, but someone's to blame.
Yeah.
Make this video.